Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joel True Love. Here with your AEW Dynamite review for March 30th, 2022. Solid show again from Dynamite. We had some very good matches on the card. We had Lethal Vs Jon Moxley. FTR vs Gunn Club didn't disappoint. Bryan vs Yuta, and the main event between Darby and Andrade was really good as well. Before though I dive into review, I will say I apologize to all my subscribers that watched my AEW reviews last week. I said that I was gonna upload a Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor 2022 review Sunday. Little did I know that it wasn't happening Friday, but it's happening this Friday. But nonetheless, I'll have a review, Supercard of Honor review, either Saturday or Sunday. Again, I apologize for that little mishap, but either Saturday or Sunday, you'll get a Ring of Honor review, along with, of course, my Rampage review. 2 pro wrestling reviews coming up this weekend, so look out for the reviews coming up. But also, we had a debut of one Toni Storm. Toni Storm, she arrived in AEW in a Owen Hart Cup tournament qualifier. First the Bunny, she debuted and oh boy, she looks refreshed. She looks like almost like a new Toni Storm, I would say. You know, you look at her and you're like, how? How can WWE let her go? Honestly, I mean, she looks like the type of female WWE would want. You know, blonde, beautiful. I mean, she goes out in the ring, she can talk, but it's just you see more of these debuts of wrestlers not you that have not been used properly, and it's mind-boggling, but at the same time not, because they weren't handled the right way. But big debut for Toni Storm, the first female to qualify for the female Owen Hart Cup for AEW, and a really good addition to the AEW women's roster. Just very good, very good. And I'll have more on her match, which wasn't much, but still was decent. Um, on in a bit, but thank you for joining me. If you're new to the podcast, if you want to see more of these pro wrestling reviews, find them on the homepage. Click subscribe. I, of course, post my Dynamite reviews Thursday at my Rampage reviews on Saturday, and you will get an additional pro wrestling review this week. Of course, I mentioned my first Ring of Honor review will actually come this weekend, so look out for that as well. But thank you. Let's dive into it, shall we? Dynamite start off with CM Punk. CM Punk, who last week in a very good match against Dax Harwood, notion to the crowd that he wants the AEW World title. Here against Max Caster, Max Caster, why are we? Well, we're not surprised. He mentioned a line in his rap about the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing. No surprise. Mentioned towards CM Punk's old age, But CM Punk couldn't help but laugh at Caster's remarks. So this match was fine. Not compared to the very good matches that came on after this. A little bit of a, I would say, level down, but still decent match. Springboard clothesline by Punk. He hit a suplex, but was favoring his back. That Dax targeted last week and Caster worked on this week. Caster followed up with a Fisherman Buster for near fall. Punk was draped over top rope and Caster a leg drop for a 2 count. But the finish of the match came when Punk hit a pile driver, followed with a Anaconda Vice for the win. Caster tap. Afterwards, Tony Schiavone interviewed him, and Punk said basically afterwards that he doesn't know what's going to happen next week. But what he does know is that he'll grow more gray in his beard, grow more scars in his head, and that he wants the AEW World title. Point blank, I think we can all agree. Whether it's CM Punk versus Adam Cole, CM Punk versus Hangman at Double or Nothing, sign me up. Gonna be a fun match. One sec though. MJF and FTR were backstage. MJF. So, Mark Sterling, the lawyer of MJF, printed out pictures of Wardlow, basically warning pictures around backstage, saying, of course, if you see Wardlow, he is not to be let into the arena. So they were like, what's going on? But so MJF said the new era for the Pickle will starting tonight, starting with FTR being the Gun Club. And FTR said that, they're friends with MJF, they're friends with Wardlow, but they don't want any part of this MJF Wardlow shtick. So MJF said, whoa, whoa, I consider you guys like family. And he said, oh, by the way, Wardlow used to talk loads of shit about you. So MJF being as conniving and conceited as he can. So they went for their usual hand gesture, but FTR was hesitant to join MJF. And MJF said, when you're in the pinnacle, you're always on top. Also, Sean Spears faced Sean Dean next week. But Sean Spears wasn't there. But yeah, dissension between MJF and FTR. Next, we got a very good match between Jay Lethal and Jon Moxley. Jay Lethal, I get it because, you know, former multiple time Ring of Honor World Champion, he's brought in the fall at Full Gear. His first match on Dynamite was against Sammy Guevara for the TNT title, but lost. You know, but people have been, sure, Jay Lethal has been slow, going through the slow build, and people have been wondering why he is not on TV more. And judging from the last 2 weeks, here against Moxley, and then last week for Sam Cole, I think it's pretty explanatory that Jay Lethal needs to be more on AEW television. But this match, very good. Moxley and Lethal, I'm not sure if these two actually, they might have, but I don't recall them actually facing ever in the past. But good match. Lethal had Suicida on the outside, taking out Moxley for the moment, leaving him on his heels. Back in the ring, Moxley fired back some offense. They hit a dual crossbody, knocking both to the mat for a separation. Moxley hit a big lariat, Lethal hit the lethal combination for a near fall. Lethal went for the lethal ejection, but Moxley countered into a sleeper. Lethal actually rolled up Moxley for a near fall, fired back with the brainbuster and a top rope elbow for a 2. They were exchanging in the middle of the ring. Lethal was a bit frustrated. And then all of a sudden, Moxley had a paradigm shift on Lethal for the win. Before the match, Lethal offered to shake hands. Moxley denied it. And then at the end of the match, Moxley was the one to extend his hand, and they shook hands at the end of the match. So good sportsmanship from a very good match. Moxley and Lethal. I imagine, that we may get more Lethal and perhaps, because we saw on Rampage that Lethal said there's got to be a better way. So, Lethal, he doesn't really have a lot of a gimmick. So, perhaps we could see after he loses, because he's lost 2 in a row. Maybe we see a bit of a character change out of Lethal. Just a thought, but more Jay Lethal on TV. Excuse me. So we got FTR versus the Gun Club. FTR with their NWO inspired gear is always interesting with their vests and the logos. It's definitely a good look, especially considering the Scott Hall passing. It makes you more appreciative, I would say, a bit, just a bit of the NWO recollection. But yeah, they face off against the Gun Club. The Gun Club, you know, I've said before, they got a good theme song. It sounds like a Western, going off for a stare off for a cowboy type of thing. And the more you see them, the more they look ready. The more they look ready for, TV. Because they had that big win streak on Dark. And they were awarded with a tag team title shot for Jurassic Express and did very well. Here against FTR, they did not disappoint, but this match was kind of overshadowed by MJF and Wardlow. So, MJF was on commentary for this match. MJF always has good commentary skills, but so Billy Gunn, the father of Austin Colton, he was outside and he decked Cash Harwood, much to the chagrin of MJF and Dax Harwood. So, back from break, they were exchanging. Dax hit a big lariat for near fall. And Dax went for, I assume, a brainbuster. And Dax had his leg pulled out from under him. Looked like Colton pulled out his leg and tried to hold down Dax's leg while Austin was pinning him for a near fall. And then all of a sudden, so they cut to the near the concourse area backstage. So Wardlow, so he was backstage. He was pissed. He was throwing around security guards. He power bombed one on a table full of popcorn. That was a strange visual. So then he got into the Raptors of the arena. pointed down at the commentary table, pointed at MJF, and Wardlow was making his beeline for the commentary booth. He did fight off some security guards, but eventually the security guards had him wrapped up, had him tossed out, and MJF, much to his liking, so he was uneasy, you know. So this Wardlow thing, because MJF said that he was gonna pay Wardlow to stay home, and right off the bat we see Wardlow again, and he got a great reaction, but I'm just a little skeptical because, you know, how are they gonna work the right way around this? You know, because even AEW, they removed quote unquote Wardlow from their roster page. So there's that one goes to the storyline. So curious to see how they go about this. Anyway, so back in the ring. So Austin, miscommunication. His brother knocked him to the outside. And Dax went for a sunset flip on Austin, but Billy Gunn grasped the hands of his son, throwing the pin. So Cash broke it up. Dax and Billy Gunn had a stare off, but Billy Gunn was knocked from the apron, and a big rig was hit by FTR. 1, 2, 3. FTR gets the victory. Afterwards, MJF came down to celebrate with FTR, but FTR were hot with MJF. They not more dissension, more dissension with MJF, you know. And it's funny, they've been sort of teasing this like FTR type of face turn tweener role, perhaps, for FTR. Teasing Bret Hart. And just curious how this goes with the Pinnacle. So there was shoving with MJF, but seemed like cooler heads prevailed, and MJF rose the hands of both FTR and they walked off. So clearly the Pinnacle is not all gears ahead. So then we got the Jericho Appreciation Society. They were backstage. I tell you, some of the Matt Bloom or Matt Menard, with whatever his name is now, of 2.0. Oh man, he was wearing like this flashy outfit. I don't know what to think about that. I don't know what to think because, you know, remind me of, for those football fans who are watching, you don't know, seeing Kurt Warner broadcast games, and he's wearing like this was wearing like this flashy kind of big coat, and that coat sort of reminded me of what Matt Menard or Matt Bloom was wearing, and that was just very strange, very strange. You know, Daniel Garcia is wearing like these overalls with this backwards like cap, kind of a strange look, but so Jericho was talking about how the era of them